Alright everybody, welcome back again to Redzone Rambling. This is Kyle Oster.
Papi Chulo.
Papi Chulo.
Back in the tank top.
Back in the tank top. I like it. All Blanco? All Blanco, everything.
Faded pink. See, it used to be pink. It was pink tie-dye. It's been washed
Bro,
about 50 times.
right now you're wearing white shorts. Regardless of how it got white, it's white tank top, white headphones, and a white bandana.
Call me the snowman if you want.
Alright, I'm not going to, but we can.
In Florida.
We didn't. Jacksonville didn't, which is very
Downtown,
unfortunate.
there was a 2-minute dusting, so I'm counting it.
Whoa. That's heavy stuff right there.
Exactly.
So, I don't want to delay this any further. Let's get right into it. Coaching carousel. There's been an insane amount of moves being made recently, especially with the end of the season. We knew that it was going to happen. I didn't expect anything like this. The big one that just came through was, I think today, right?
Not officially. It's not official, but yeah.
Okay, not officially. But reports are that Jon Gruden has signed, or is going to sign, that I guess it's not inked yet,
Right.
with the Oakland Raiders for a 10-year, $100 million contract.
Right.
For those of you who aren't very good with math, that's $10 million a year. I just punched the numbers. $10 million
Is
a
that
year.
before tax or after tax?
I'm not really sure. We'll have to call up Wesley Snipes.
But he was the highest paid person, like announcer, like NFL commentator, and now he might be the highest paid coach. We don't know because they don't actually release the actual numbers. This is like what people are saying the deal is. NFL teams don't release like coaches' contracts, but
right.
It's theoretically or like not theoretically, like supposedly the highest coaching contract. And there was talk last week that he might be getting a little piece of the team too, like a percentage of the team.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So has that been done before, coach/owner?
We don't know for sure. He wouldn't be considered. I mean, he would be considered an owner, but he wouldn't. He's definitely not going to majority, so like 5%.
Right. Okay, well that makes more sense.
But yeah.
So I'm just going to kick this off. I don't like this move at all for the Oakland Raiders, not even in the slightest. So here's what I think. I think Jon Gruden is coasting a very, very illustrious coast on what was a very fortunate situation he was thrown into with Tony Dungy's team. So when he took over the Bucs organization from Tony Dungy, he was left an insane amount of talent. We know that defense he was left. There's no doubting that. But here's the thing. He has been proven to kill quarterbacks. He has 100% never had a consistency with the quarterback position at all. Just listen to the people he's gone through. All right, in the 7 years that he was there as the head coach at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he went through Brad Johnson, Chris Sims, Bruce Gradkowski, Jeff Garcia, Jake Plummer, and Josh Johnson. If you don't know any of those names, it's because they weren't any good and he was trying to, plug a hole there in the ship for a little bit. So I think what he's going to do with this situation here in Oakland is very similar. I think he's going to take over, and he inherited a lot of talent once again. And I think he is someone who could do good with a little bit of talent that he has. Okay? So I expect the Oakland Raiders to do well in the next, I'd say 2 years they're probably going to be really good. I think next year they're going to be pretty good, if not really good, and they're also the year after. So what I don't think was smart, and if this deal goes through the way it was, is them signing him to 10 years. That's where I don't agree with it. 10 years to someone who has not proven, like, out of his entire career, the knock completely is that his longevity, that he could not sustain that winning the winning fortune for more than a few years. It wasn't something that he was consistent. Consistency was the problem with him. So that's my little tidbit on Jon Gruden. Where do you have?
Let me tell you why that's all completely wrong.
What's wrong?
The whole thing. This is an amazing move for the Oakland Raiders.
Oh my gosh.
Soon to be Las Vegas Raiders. And they're not the 10 years is just to get him out. Every year, someone wants to sign Jon Gruden. Literally every year, and he doesn't do it. They had to make a big splash, 10 years, $100 million. That's just to get him out of the booth. And he left earlier because he had coaching fatigue. He'd been coaching his whole year, and he had kids. This year, his kids graduating from high school, so he has his free time now. He doesn't have that. His kid's going off to college, so that family life is gone for him. He's able to come back to football now. They made that huge 10-year, $100 million because they had to get him out of the booth. Why would he leave the booth for something less than that? You know what I mean? He's the highest paid NFL commentator, like I said, and literally every year someone wants him. So you come into the situation, and yeah, he inherited a great defense from Tony Dungy, but he still
more than a good defense.
No, he had a great defense, Tony Dungy, but what he implemented there with the Tampa 2 defense, his innovation of Tampa 2 defense was amazing. And I don't know what you're talking about, quarterback killer. All those quarterbacks today were trash. They were trash quarterbacks.
Brad Johnson?
This was not good.
Bro,
Their offense
Pro
was
Bowl
not.
in '99.
It doesn't matter. 1 year Pro Bowl, I don't care about
He
that.
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why Jon Gruden is a good quarterback. Everyone who talked about Jon Gruden say he's a quarterback coach. That's why he has Jon Gruden's quarterback camp. That's why everyone goes there, because he's amazing with quarterbacks. All those quarterbacks he named were trash. They were all bad.
If he was
that's not a knock that he. That's an amazing achievement that he won Super Bowl with Brad Johnson in virtually no running game, one wide receiver. Yeah, he got a good defense from Tony Dungy, but he was calling the plays. And the year before that, mind you, he took the Oakland Raiders to the AFC Championship game when they were trash. He was there for 2 years, and he took them to a championship game. They were trash. He's the one that built that team, and that's why he got the Tampa Bay job, because he took the Raiders from nothing to something, to an AFC Championship game. And he only lost because of the tuck rule. That was the year he lost. That's the tuck rule. He lost to the Patriots, who went on to win the Super Bowl. So don't tell me he's not a good coach. He got the Tampa Bay job because he took the Raiders from nothing to something.
Okay.
He had I'm refuting all your points right now. Just hold it on.
Go.
All the quarterbacks he had were bad. He left because he just had fatigue. He had family issues. It was tearing his family apart. He had to be home. Like I said, his kids.
Jeff Garcia was bad.
His kids going to. Yeah, Jeff Garcia is not good. Just we're talking about NFL Street.
Jeff Garcia was good at San Francisco.
At San Francisco, he wasn't there. At San Francisco, I'm talking about when he had the quarterback at the Buccaneers. He was not good.
If he's a guru, if he's a quarterback guru, shouldn't he make a talent?
No,
like
not an
Jeff
old
Garcia?
quarterback past his prime. Jeff Garcia went there because the 49ers didn't want anymore because he's old. Jay Plummer was barely good with the Broncos. He went there to the tail end of his career when he was washed up.
I'm saying he hasn't proved anything.
Chris Sims was never good. Brad Kowski was never good. Brad Johnson was old when he was there past his prime. Jeff Garcia was there past his prime. All those quarterbacks he said were past their prime. He's not going to revive life into someone. He works with young quarterbacks and builds them up. That's why literally all of them go to the quarterback camp that he has. All quarterbacks that come in, top 5 quarterbacks from the draft, go to his quarterback camp. And this is a big move for them either way because they're about to move to Las Vegas. It doesn't matter. This isn't even so much about coaching. This is a big marketing move. You're about to move to Las Vegas, who has never had... Well, they just got the first sports team ever this year. It's a hockey team, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which no one knows about. But anyway, they've never had a sports team. They're about to get their first team in Las Vegas. They have this huge stadium built, and there's a bunch of coaches you could have brought in. But the biggest name that you can bring in is Jon Gruden. That's going to get people excited. For that move to Las Vegas, it's for marketing only. The real people who are going to run this team. He's been out for 10 years. Doesn't matter if he's watching the game. He's bringing in all OCs in a DC who've been in the game this whole time. And I wrote down the OC is bringing. It's Rams quarterback coach Greg Olson. He's bringing the Bengals DC Paul Luther in, and then the assistant head coach for the Cowboys is going to be a special team.
Is that the same Greg Olson who was the Jaguars OC?
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not addressing that. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he has to be people who are there in the game, because he's been out for 10 years. Yeah, you can maybe some people say he might have advantage because he's been in production meetings and getting all these crazy stats and looking at games from different angles, whatever. But the fact that he's been out for 10 years, the big thing is it's a marketing move. They needed a big splash move because they're about to move to a whole other city. There's no bigger name than Jon Gruden in coaching, and the only bigger name is Bill Belichick, and Jon Gruden hasn't coached in a decade, and he's still the biggest name, the biggest coaching name.
Right.
That's the big thing there.
See,
and he's getting a team who you can say they have a lot of talent, which they have a middling amount of talent. Last year was an aberration. Last year was an aberration for the Raiders. They sucked before they had that good year. They sucked this year. The defense played amazing around Khalil Mack, and he had a subpar season compared to his standards, and the whole defense suffered. The whole defense suffered. all their receivers are great, but they drop almost everything thrown their way.
Amari Cooper drops almost everything.
Michael Crabtree had bad drops this year too. The team as a whole, they lost 2 of their best offensive linemen. The Raiders are not good. They proved it this year. With only they lost their linemen, which is their key strength last year. They're not getting those guys back. Derek Carr is going to keep getting injured because their line is bad. The receivers are dropping balls. The defense is bad. I don't care what you say. You look at their stats; they're like 20th in everything. The defense is just bad.
Okay.
Last year for the Raiders was an aberration. They have a middling amount of talent. They had to make a big splash move. There's no bigger move for marketing than Jon Gruden.
Okay, so if we're looking at stats, we're looking at facts. That's what I'm focused on completely with the Jon Gruden thing. I think a lot of people get caught up in the mystique that, oh, it's Jon Gruden. This is the guy who led the Raiders to the AFC Championship, and this is the guy who won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and did this and that. Okay, but let's take a look at the facts here. Like I said, he did that with Tony Dungy's team. So let's discount.
Yes, and then after the Super Bowl, that team got torn apart. Those players retired. Warren Sapp retired. Derek Johnson retired. All those Derek Brooks retired. Retired.
Derek Brooks did not retire after that 2002 Super Bowl. But look, so
they were all.
So look, this was his record.
That was their peak. That was the best they would ever be. Was 2003. They were all old, and the team got decimated.
Listen to Jon Gruden's record after 2002. So 7-9, 5-11. He went 11-5. He had a good year. 4-12, and then 2 years of 9-7.
And I'm saying, look at the team. The teams were garbage. It wasn't the Super Bowl winning team. The guys left. The guys were old. The team was bad.